Revenue streams for private investigators can best be described as cyclical. There's ups, there's downs, and there is seldom just the norm. It's usually feast or famine for most PIs. My business is no different. I used to often see long lulls between jobs until I decided to start up my process serve business. Now, when I started providing legal service of process as a service, it was mostly for my investigative clients. Sometimes, though, I was too busy to be able to do the service myself, so I would try to find a process serve company that could assist me. This search turned out to be a fruitless adventure for me. I left more messages and sent more emails than I care to remember. Most simply went unanswered. I was able to reach a couple of process servers that said that they could assist me. I went over my requirements with them and the pay that they required. My requirements were fairly straightforward. Number 1, let me know when you receive the serve. Number 2, let me know when you make an attempt. First attempt within 3 days, please. Number 3, let me know when the serve was completed and in what manner. Most serves were due in 10 days unless otherwise stipulated. Number 4, send me an affidavit within 48 hours of service. Number 5, bill me at the end of the month for all serves, and I even offered quicker payment if they needed it. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. Fairly simple, right? 5 easy steps. Shouldn't be a problem, right? Well, all of the companies that I try failed at step number 1, and they failed miserably at communications as a whole. Generally, they just went out and served whenever, and the only communication that I ever got was an affidavit 2 weeks after I sent them to serve in the first place. Then the billing came, and they would have add-on services, things like skip traces, bad address fees, rush attempts, which I never approved. And then there was mileage, which was never discussed in our initial discussion. Frustration was all I got for months. I often wondered why I even tried to use other people. Then I said to myself, self, how hard can it really be to run a process serve business? So I started my own. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. Running a process serve business has plenty of challenges of its own, to be sure, but it is a great add-on for most private investigation businesses. My process serve business adds about 30% to my revenue streams, and in many slower periods, it really helps keep revenue coming in. So how can you add this lucrative business line onto your business? Let's first go over the details of what process serving or legal service of process entails. A process server delivers legal documents involved in a court case or other form of litigation. These documents are delivered to various individuals like the defendants, witnesses, and other parties involved in the case. You will want to make sure that you know what the requirements of service are for each of those papers and documents in the state that you live in. In Colorado, for instance, a summons can be served on any family member 18 years of age or older at the subject's residence, but a subpoena has to be personally served. Other states allow summonses to be served on anyone over 15 at the residence. I know some states, like Texas, I believe is one, that do not allow serves on Sundays. Whatever state the court is in is a state where you need to know the rules for legal service of process. Generally, if you know what your state requirements are, you should be good. I would suggest to make yourself a cheat sheet that has all of the more common served documents and the requirements for service of process. In some states, like here in Colorado, there are differences for district courts and county courts, so you should check and make sure that you understand the requirements in your state. Here are some more common types of legal documents that you may find yourself serving. Protection orders, often called restraining orders. Sometimes they're temporary, sometimes they're permanent. Contempt citations, notice, claim, and summons to appear. Notice and order to show cause. Replevins, summons in forcible detainer. Summons, subpoenas, subpoena deus tecum, or subpoena to produce. Writ of garnishment. Now, getting started is the biggest challenge for most people. The best way to get started is to let your existing customers know you are now doing process serves. Many times, attorneys and law firms would rather deal with only one person if possible, so having a PI that can help with the serves is a huge plus. Now, another huge resource for you as a process server is your state process server association. Most states have one of these, and they can offer training and other advice for you. Pricing your serves is another challenge. I suggest you just simply simply call your competitors and ask them what they are charging. Hi, what do you charge for a serve on a summons for small claims? That's all it takes. Usually the type of document doesn't matter, but sometimes there are different fees for things like protection orders or restraining orders. When you call and they give you a price, make sure that you ask if they have rush service or same-day service so you get those prices as well. There are usually a lot of competitors in each market, so I would say call 3 to 7 of them. The more the better. Then you can make an educated guess as to how to price your services as a process server. Now for me, I know I'm not the cheapest guy in town, nor do I try to be the cheapest guy in town. I offer a premium service at a competitive price. You will find that many process serve customers shop for price, but it is the process server that closes the sale on the phone that gets the job. You will most likely find that the majority of your competition out there is process serve companies that have large contracts with local law firms and are doing bulk work at ridiculously low prices. For example, my company's process serves start at $85. The local process serve companies around here are $55 and the sheriff is $45. The big difference between me and my competitors as far as selling the deal, I answer my phone and I make it easy for the client to hire me. Okay, now do you add it as a service line or do you start a new business? It is going to take a while for the process serve side of business to pick up some momentum, most likely. I started out with it as an add-on service for my investigation business. After a couple of years, I chose to spin it off as a business line of its own. I would recommend to start it as an add-on business for your PI business. This is fairly simple. You can just add a page on your website dedicated to process serving. Make sure the URL address has your city and the words process server in it. If your PI business is www.mypibiz.com, then do www.mypibiz.com, yourtown_process_server. This will help out when it comes to search engine optimization to get that page ranking and showing as quickly as possible. On your page, never put your prices on your website.